Have you ever wanted a single cut shape that you feel like is different from a Les Paul or a Telecaster or anything of that sort? Because I feel like with how oversaturated the market is with all different types of Les Pauls, with all different types of Telecasters, and all different types of the standard single cut, that it makes it to where different types of single cuts don't get to shine. Ibanez released their Iceman line in 2024, which is what this, sorry about this, this is what this is based off, which is a IC420 and antique blue metallic. At least I should be right. And it's definitely an out there shape. It's definitely an out there shape. It's not a Les Paul. It plays like a Les Paul. I think it plays better than a Les Paul, but it's definitely its own unique thing. And I think that it's something worth talking about, and I think that it's something worth getting into. I think you guys should really subscribe. I'm trying to make as good of content as I possibly could. I'm trying to make these reviews as detailed and as fun for you guys to watch as you can. So one subscription goes a long way. I would love any subscriptions. Also, any comments, any supportful comments. I would love to know what you would want to see more of. I'd love to know what I can do to improve. I think that would go a long way. Okay, so an introduction to this guitar is that I got this guitar as a Christmas present about a couple months ago. And this is my dream guitar shape. I've always loved the Iceman shape. It's a long guitar. It's a very long guitar. Now, I haven't modded this in any way. The only mods I've done, if you even want to call them that, is a fret wrap, and I installed I have installed a DiMarzio clip lock on here. Jesus Christ, get it together on this recording. I've installed some clip locks on here because I like trying out new things. I like trying out new options. I always wanted this guitar shape because of players like, well, mainly because System of a Down, that's what they played. That's what the guitar System of a Down played. But there's other notable players that people might know, such as Knock Loose. I forgot his name. I think his name starts Isaac. Paul Stanley is honestly the most notable one, and he's the one that most people know for this type of guitar. And I just always wanted it. I feel like it's such a funky shape, and I feel like it doesn't get enough attention. And I feel like, in all honesty, it does play better than a Les Paul. I just feel like as far as playing it, it plays like how you'd want a Les Paul to play. I feel like the gallops play nice. I feel like because of how it's set up, it plays absolutely wonderful. It sits great on the person. And I feel like, honestly, if you're ever looking for a different type of like single cut and you can't decide, I would decide on this if I'm being honest with you. Now, this guitar wasn't made in the 70s. This shape was made in the 70s. This was made in 2024. But I would say just a general overview of it is it's kind of like if a Les Paul was ran through a taffy machine, like the horns all the way over here, like it's like stretched out, it's like wider, and the headstock, this size divisive headstock. I like the headstock. I think the headstock looks kind of cool, but I understand why this type of headstock is divisive because it is a little weird. But I think it only works on this guitar because when I've seen this on like their RGs, the headstock does not look right. It always looks a little weird. But I would say this horn is actually very comfortable. Like, it looks weird, but sitting down, it's actually really, really comfortable. And I don't think a lot of people understand how comfortable this is. Like, this horn makes it to where the guitar doesn't slide off. Because I feel like with Les Pauls, when you're trying to play certain Les Pauls, that they just slides off because the horn is so small. But if a horn is large, it's not going to slide off your body. Like, it's not going to slide off your person. Kind of like an Explorer guitar. It's not going to slide off you. Now, the control layout of this is 2 volumes, 2 tones, and the volumes are over here. They're like this way, and then the tones are this way, which is a little bit of getting used to because I'm used to Les Pauls. But it's still the same control layout: 2 volumes, 2 tones, and, 3 ways toggle, a neck and a bridge pickup, 3 aside headstock. If you know how a Les Paul works and you love how a Les Paul works, this is honestly the guitar for you. And also another thing is on the back, it also has the same type of cutout. This doesn't have an access cutout. it has like the Les Paul brick, like the Fender brick, to where it's like there's no upper fret access at all. There is, but you're just grabbing a brick. I don't think it's too terrible, but I wish that they went for an option with more access. It also, if I take this off, it also has a volute, which I think is criminally underrated. I think all guitars with a tilt back headstock should definitely have a volute, because a volute makes the headstock infinitely stronger than one without one, and it makes it to where if you drop it, you don't have to worry about breaking it. Okay, so a little bit of background knowledge on this guitar. This guitar was made in the late 70s, I want to say from 78 to 79, and it was made as a reaction to what was known in Ibanez's history as the lawsuit era. The lawsuit era of guitars were when Japanese companies such as Ibanez, Greco, a bunch of other companies too did it. I'll probably list them, but they all made copies of Fender and Gibson parts. Now, what happened was Gibson decided we don't want that anymore, so they cracked down on them and they forced them to change their shapes. And then what ended up happening, that was once they couldn't make them, Ibanez decided to make the Iceman. And from making the Iceman, this is basically their take on a Les Paul, since they couldn't make a Les Paul. Now, I will say, as far as Japanese counterfeit guitars, because I know like ESP has like Navigator and all their type of thing, sometimes it's legally binding. But I will say the history on the Iceman is very interesting, and I think that everyone should look it up in their own free time and see it, because I think it's very interesting, and I think it really does delve in to an interesting era of guitar manufacturing. The general specs of this guitar is that it is a Akume body, and it's also a 3-piece Akume neck. Now, if you're wondering what Akume is basically budget mahogany. It's mahogany. It's similar to mahogany, looks like mahogany. It's mahogany. Don't let anyone tell you differently. It's mahogany. Sounds the same as mahogany. It's just a cheaper wood, which I don't think is a problem, but I know some people are going to throw a fit about it. It has a 12-inch radius. It has a bound Jatoba fretboard, which is basically another rosewood alternative. I think it plays great. I would have preferred ebony on this, but I understand what type of guitar they were trying to mimic. They were trying to mimic the original Iceman, so I understand. But in my opinion, I wish it was ebony. But anyways, it has block fret inlays with abalone, and it's acrylic, which means that they just look really nice. I think it really makes it classy. The binding all over the guitar just makes the whole guitar look classy. I think that the gold hardware makes it all look classy. And I think that it really adds a nice touch and a nice bit of flair that makes it to where it's like, oh, this is actually a really nice looking instrument. It also has a 24 and 3/4 or 0.75 inch scale length, which is the standard Gibson scale length, standard Les Paul scale length that if you like those type of guitars, you're going to be used to. And it has a 43 millimeter nut. So again, just like a Les Paul with a wider nut than something like a Fender or something like anything lower than that, like any like Floyd's or anything. It has Gibraltar Performer quick change parts. I like the bridge. I like the tailpiece. I like how they're designed. I think they're designed well. The only issue is these do not lock. So if you're changing strings, do this on a flat surface with gravity protecting you, because these will fly. These will fly out everywhere. Like, it was a pain in the ass to restring this because they fly everywhere and it goes everywhere, but they do look nice and they do work really well. So I will give them that. And then the star of the show, and one of the things that I don't like the most about this guitar, but I don't think that they sound horrible, I'm just picky, is these humbuckers. Now, these are Ibanez's Super 80 humbuckers, which have a reading of about, like, they're both the same, so it's about like 7.1, 7.7K, but I've also heard 8K. There's not a lot that I could find on these pickups, and I don't have a multimeter, so I can't read one. I can't read offhand, but based off the research I did, that was all I found out about these pickups. They're like an overwound PAF humbucker, which for anyone who doesn't get what that means, that basically means that a PAF was a patented apply humbucker that Gibson made that every single guitar player has always wanted to chase. has always wanted the sound of. This is basically that, but overwound, so they're hotter than PAFs, which I think helps a lot considering that most people who are going to play this guitar are going to play metal on it. But I do wish that they made a version with other pickups than just these. But I don't think that they're terrible, but I would definitely replace them because they are not the best. But other than that, that's pretty much the specs on this guitar. It's a solid rounder guitar. I mean, it plays great. 3-piece neck makes it to where it'll withstand warping. It has a volute, so the headstock won't break. This thing is built to last. This thing is built to be thrown around and play. I know it's big. It's a very long guitar, so do watch out for corners. But it is built for a lot of aggression, and it is built to be played very hard. So it is a super competent instrument that you don't have to worry about breaking anytime soon. Now, another thing to note real quick, I want to say is that these tuners are just unnamed Ibanez tuners. So they work great. I think that they do work great, but I would replace them with locking tuners, but that's more of a personal preference thing than something like the pickups, I would say. And also, one of the worst parts is that this comes with a plastic nut. I wish this came with Graph Tech or like a bone nut. I understand that they had to cut costs where they could, but I think that a plastic nut was just not the right choice for this type of guitar. I wish that they went with something like a Graph Tech or a bone nut, like I said. But I don't think the tuning stability on this is bad. This thing actually stays in tune like surprisingly well. Like I think that as far as everything, like with how weird the headstock is, of how much the strings get pulled around, of how this is shaped, this stays in tune really well. Hell, I'll say this stays in tune than a lot of better and greater than a lot of Les Pauls I've ever played, and that says a lot considering what type of guitar this is. Also, the frets on here, they're not jumbo. These are medium frets, meaning that they're very low and they're not huge frets. So if you're used to huger frets, this guitar does not have them. This does not have huger frets. I think the only Iceman that does have big frets is the 7-string like Black Label one, but these are very small frets. I don't think it's bad. They're not as small as like Gibson frets, but they are small. So if you come from a world of metal to where you're playing with larger frets, this guitar may not play like how those do, but I don't think that it's bad. I think it takes like 10 minutes to get used to. But enough about the specs of the guitar. How does this thing sound? Now, this thing sounds huge. This thing sounds really good. Although I'm not the biggest fan of how these pickups sound, when you plug them to the right amp, it does sound really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a playthrough demo so you guys can hear how this thing sounds clean and how it sounds in some form of aggressive metal. I'll try my best. But what I'm going to end up using is the Fortin Nameless X plugin, which is honestly my go-to amp sim when it comes to recording guitar, because I just think it sounds the best and it makes any guitar sound really good. So I honestly hope you guys enjoy both of the playthroughs, and I hope that it helps you decide if you like the sound of this guitar or not. I would say, in conclusion about this guitar is rad. This guitar is rad as fuck. This guitar is so damn good, and I think that it plays absolutely great, minus all the minor issues I have with it, which is more picky than anything. Most people won't even complain about them. I think this guitar plays great. And honestly, I think that everyone should go try one. I think everyone should go to a music store and go try one. I think it would surprise you, even if it's one of the Paul Stanley ones, even if it's an older Iceman. I think everyone should go try at least his body shape. I think it is so unique, and I think it is so just absolutely cool. Like, this thing looks cool. You play this on stage, this thing looks fucking cool. Like, I can't even lie to you, this thing looks fucking cool. I mean, like, come on now. Come on. It looks cool. But if I'm being honest with you guys, I want to mod it. I want to take this thing to the next level. I want to put in new pickups. I want to replace the electronics. I want to replace the nut. I want to replace the tuners. I want to do a whole mod project. So if you guys want to comment down below if you guys want that. Also, any pickup recommendations, I'll take any. I'm looking for more of a metal sound. So if any of you guys want to throw in any pickup recommendations, I would love to get any. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys really did enjoy the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I hope you guys learned something about this wacky, incredible shape. So thank you everyone for watching, and have a great day, everyone.